So welcome back to the E38 with Silvio the Great, and today I'll be replacing my hood locks. Hard to see in the sun here, and I'm changing this this comes off there, that comes off there. I got the torque in my hand, a T30. You don't need to, well, you'll have to remove this middle Phillips, and this is all one piece. It comes into this driver's side block. It comes around the back here. It comes out here, right there, and here's where it's where you can actually have the split to change it. So this one now is the one that I pulled off this housing, and as you can see, the one that's across the front of my hood is still one piece. So this piece, this entire piece from this bracket comes off. All you got to do is take that off from here, from in there, gently, so you don't break it. And this is the piece that I'm changing. All this piece here, the T30 torques. There's 3 of them, and this plate, top plate, comes off, goes across, torque, torque, torque. This one comes off, and that's all there's to it. The new ones go down here. That's what it looks like. This middle clip right here screws into this middle Phillips. Doesn't come off the cable. The little bracket is attached to the cable. What the issue is when the locks go is right in here. This little plastic clip right here, where the cable gets mounted onto to unlatch the hood, they end up breaking on the bottom half of where the cable tie down there is. And as soon as that comes, as soon as that breaks off, because it's made of plastic, it lets loose the cable, and your lock don't work. So because I was able to score the entire thing, I took the entire thing out. It was pretty straightforward, and yeah, now I'll be releasing all these torques, backing off this Phillips a little bit. This comes off, the top plate comes off, put the new one in, clip it onto here, and she should be great. So until then, so we're back with the E38 and your host Silvio the Great here. I went ahead and already backed off all of my torques. We're using again the T30 torque with an extension and the ratchet, just to get at this one here, and you don't want to damage anything. So it gives you that extension. So now I'm gonna be pulling this off and replacing it. I went ahead with the used door latch that I picked up at the scrapyard, and I used lithium grease to grease as much cable and hinges and things like that on it already, to save this new latch from getting jammed up. I also steel brushed the actual latches just to clean them up as best as I can, and yeah, I'll be putting this in, so we'll be back in a minute. Okay, back with the E38 and your host Silvio the Great, and I undid all the torques. And for you that are very mechanically inclined, for these bottom torques here, when you have the torque wrench in, ratchet in, and the screw you know is completely loose now, I would suggest to slide down 2 fingers on either side of the torque to kind of hold on to the torque nut or torque screw, because you could drop it somewhere. It usually drops right there on the plastic, and you can get it right here beside the headlight, right in here. but you may lose it. It should maybe fall to the floor, if not underneath the car where it's covered up. It might be sitting in there. But to save yourself the hassle, you might just want to again, use your 2 fingers as that screw's loose, and you just pull your whole hand back with the ratchet, and the screw should still be on the torque bit. Now, again, everything's loosened off. Like I said, this top plate comes off, slides out, sorry, and it's all freed up now. So all you gotta do is go ahead and it's mounted in there, but you just kind of wiggle it until it comes through. Kind of a pain in the butt with my phone in my hand, but there we go. It just pulls up and out, and there you got the one end, and there's your broken piece right in there. This plastic's elbow that your cable end sits in. This is what breaks off, and it stops the latch from working. So I'll put that up there. And same idea with this side. Not a big issue, like I said. Just unclip it. It sits right in here in that bracket right there. This bottom clip right here where the torque holds onto. It's kind of hard for me to see if I'm aiming that correctly because of the sunlight, but you can already see she's ready to come through. All you got to do is just pull her out, and she's completely out. Just play with it a little bit, and there she comes. I could have probably closed that up, but since it's not, there we go. There you have it. There's the old one. There's your old. Again, yeah, it is a pretty straightforward process, but if you're going to be doing something like this, then now you have a better idea. I'm going to clean this up while I have a chance, and come back when I put in the new one. So I'm back. The door latches, the hood latches are back in, and here's your finished product. I greased everything with lithium grease, cleaned everything up. There's your Phillips, back it off, slide the tab underneath, lock the Phillips back down. That's all you need to do there. Again, top plate, all greased up. Go through under there, the cable comes behind a headlight here, housing. You can actually see it there. Comes up here. There's this little cover. You just got to pull it off. There's a hole right there, and then this piece of plastic on this side's got a little tab that sits in that one side of the hole, so like a quarter. You know, you got to pop it off there, and it slides in underneath this thing. So it's just clipped on. Underneath there is the joint for the rest of the cable that runs into the hood, into the interior of the firewall to pull to unlatch your hood. And by hand, I've been cleaning it up a little bit. And the next thing I'm going to be working on and posting on YouTube will be this. If you have a puddle down there, I found that this housing is leaking right here at the seam. I actually stopped it. I changed the cap, thinking it might be the cap or the seal on the cap that was cracked, but it's not. It's the actual housing, the aluminum housing. So I'm going to replace that next. I did stop it quite a bit, and from the oil leak that I had. And then your power steering, I had this changed too. Didn't even have to change the lines here. And so far I have absolutely no leaks underneath the hood now. This this one hose right here, let me see if I can get it right there, that connects to this cylinder, the clamp was not on tight, and I was losing a lot of oil out of there. And so yes, this is my next task. All of these mounts seem to be broken. Any car I find, they're all broken. I'm gonna figure out how to make a nice mount for that next. And it's just probably better than the original. And now I'm gonna close the hood so you can see how it works. Beautiful. Both sides latch down. It's locked. Come around the driver's side here. Pop the hood, which is kind of neat because you can see it lift, but just barely, which is fine with me. And see right there, maybe on the edge. There, it's popped. Obviously, for those that might not know, here's your hood release, molded right into the side panel of the A-pillar. And yeah, we'll see what's going to be next. I unlatched the hood, so I'll pop it open again. And she's perfect. So to my next little task, again, I'll be doing the oil filter reservoir there, or pump or whatever, and car needs body and paint, but I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm done for tonight. The longer it sits, 5 more years she sits, she'll be an antique. Got the HIDs, LEDs, and it needs a paint job. There's my baby here. I got a fuel tank leak at the seam, it looks like. At the seam, you have to drop the tank, which has already been dropped once. They just did a really messed up job. Here she is, 98. Until next time, on my E38 and your host Silvio the Great.